All right, our last one, last thing you'll ever hear from me, except like goodbye and all that, is public goods. I don't know if you ever heard of public goods, but think about things like fire service, police, ambulance, parks are good examples of public goods. And I've got a definition here, but it's not quite complete. It's just but think about those kind of things: fire, police, and the library. Um, basically the definition I have, and I'll hold this up and freeze it and all that. They're goods or services that are free, if you will. You don't have to pay to go in the library. You don't have to pay to go in um, Falls Park, things like that. And they're non-exclusionary. Everybody gets in. Um, Now that's not completely true. National parks, for instance, are public goods. They're not free, but everybody gets in as if you can pay that pretty small fee compared to if you had to have your own park, kind of thing. Okay, so that's what a public good is. Okay, and I know police and stuff aren't free, but they kind of are in that sense. Even if like you guys that work on the ambulance, I know they charge you if somebody gets a run, but if they don't pay it, it's not like they don't serve you. Okay, so what happens if you have these things in a pure market? If you had Falls Park was privately owned, okay, they would have to put up a fence. They would charge people to get in, and the only people that could get in are the ones that paid the fee. Well, the problem with that, arguably, is if you set the fee high enough, you're limiting who can use the park. Kings Island is a park versus Falls Park. Why do people pay money to go to Kings Island? Easy question. And they don't pay to go to Falls Park. They wouldn't pay even nearly the amount for obvious reasons. Okay, so let me finish with the notes here. So in a pure market, the middle part here is that some people will get better service or goods than others. An example I use is if you think about Jeff Bezos' house catches on fire, and you think about some triple poor guy whose shack catches on fire. In a pure market, Jeff Bezos is going to get better service because simply he's going to pay more. I'll give you $100,000 just put my fire right now because I got all the important vests to protect. And the other guy's like, I only got like 50 cents. Well, they're not even going to probably bother with him because it's not. Think about fire and police and ambulance and stuff being treated just like you would treat your air conditioner goes out, your furnace goes out. You call the guy and he's like, "Well, you come fix it." And, well, yeah, that's going to be $600. Well, I don't have any money. Well, you don't have any furnace then. Sounds cruel, but how else do they make money? Nobody gives restaurant food away for free, except as promotions, and we'll give it to you for free if you're a healthcare worker and so on. But part of that is designed to get more people in that restaurant and to look good, which is so be it. But basically is that the Jeff Bezos of the world would get better police, fire, ambulance. They could afford better parks. It's why wealthier people can go to Disney World if they want to, or they can go to more exclusive islands or resorts that other people can't get into. If you've ever been to Florida or any place like that, you've seen that in action. Restricted beaches and stuff like that, where the rest of us have to use the public beach or in the parking lot or whatever. So that's your problem. Now, the way the government solves this is simply through taxation. So we tax, but we don't tax everybody because not everybody pays taxes because they don't make enough money. So that creates one of our problems, but it's basically paid for in taxes. Everybody gets the service, which I didn't put on there, but it's obvious. Everybody gets the service, okay? But because not everybody pays taxes, this gives you what is called the free rider problem, okay? The free rider problem is simply something where somebody uses a service or a good and they don't pay for it, okay? It's as simple as, I don't know, Lapel. Let's say Lapel has their prom. And 10 couples come over, they sneak over, whatever, and they go to Falls Park and they have their pictures taken at the gazebo. They're free riders. They're not paying taxes in Pendleton, who the tax money goes to that park, yet they're benefiting from the services. Or if they go fish in that lake or that little pond or whatever. And you can do the same. You can go to Lapel Park, whatever that's like, 12 square feet of it. then they're not going to stop you. Now with the gazebo, you're supposed to pay, to rent it if you want a wedding or something, because it gives you exclusive use. But otherwise, if you're not causing a problem, you can probably just go do that, like the shelter houses and different things, which is why you tend to see people that don't have as nice a homes or nice a places, they go to the park to have their things because it's nicer than what they've got. Whereas wealthier people aren't going to do that because they don't want to mix with other people. That's why they have, nice yards and things like that. And the same thing is true with a pool. And I know Brown Pool costs to get in, but it's marginal. And only people that go there generally are people that don't have a pool, because if you guys have a pool, what's the great thing about it? You get to exclude, and you can use it whenever you want. In otherwise, to pack a bunch of stuff up and stay for 3 hours to justify you just go get in for 5 minutes, which if you have a pool, you've done that, I'm sure. So that's one of the problems, the free rider problem. The second one is, and those of you that work on the ambulance, I'm sure you have stories. I'll give you one quick one about a friend of mine that lives in Houston. He said that they got a call one day. He's a firefighter. They got a call one day, frantic, this woman screaming in Spanglish, English, Spanish, oh my God, come, mi Dios, and come. And, they bring the fire trucks, they bring the ambulances, the police come. They're all like, what's going on in this house? Because they couldn't understand what she's saying. She was so frantic. Couldn't get her fake fingernails off. And, the problem is they had to go because he didn't know, and they didn't charge her. And if something on the other side of town would have been happening, there they are, away from the action. And I asked Eric, I said, did you take her fingernails off? He said, hell no, I want to kill her. She was wasting her time and money and all that. But that's a good example of someone who should not be, There's another story in the news about a guy that got 2 billiard balls stuck in his mouth. Hey, y'all, watch this. You could just see. He puts them in there, and then, oh my God, I can't get. Oh my God, and he couldn't get them out, and so they had to call the police and so on. So a lot of times, frankly, you start paying for other people's stupidity. To be quite honest about it. Hey, y'all, watch this. Hold my root beer. Sorry. Those kind of stories. I'm sure. If you ever looked at any of those Darwin Awards or those kind of stuff, it's full of people doing these stupid things that ends up costing the taxpayer. But generally what happens is the people that more likely use the service, when you think about police, domestic disturbance, when you think about fire, you tend to think, and no offense to anybody, but you tend to think of poorly wired homes or maybe behavior-based things where you're lighting up a bong and it goes bad or whatever, or you're trying to make meth at home. The people that most likely are using those services are the ones least likely paying for them. So you end up paying for other people's behavior. So then, ask yourself, weigh that versus the fact that some people don't get good service in a pure market, which one makes more sense? And that probably becomes a focus of one of the questions I'm going to ask. I'm going to give you one more assignment, kind of asking some reactions to these things. And then we will be done. So, if you have any questions, let me know. And that's where I'm going to close it. I'm just going to end up right there. And like I said, look for an assignment. Probably do that last week, earlier on, like maybe Tuesday or possibly Wednesday of that week. All right. See you. Have a great day.